ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody can hear me. So please, if you are not talking, just try and mute yourself so that you don't distract others. So, so we're going to go to the I think the item we have on the agenda, which is the second item is a introduction of the guest speaker. So today we're going to be looking at something very exciting and very different topic, which a lot of people have been showing quite interest and very motivated to listen to this this topic and also have an idea on and the knowledge on this particular field, which is on data and analytics, which is what is trending now in the world. So we've heard about AI, artificial intelligence, and data analytics. So so it's something that's going to be very excited today. We're going to learn from one of the expert in the industry. So we'll just go straight to introduce the guest speaker for today. Yeah, the guest speaker we're having today is Mr. Levi Kufre Ayara. Kufre has more than 5 years industry experience in data and analytics and over 2 years in senior level client services management in software consultancy. Amongst many, he's worked with Bentley, IBM Projects, etc. He is a chief data and analytics officer at the Kebel Consulting Limited. He serves as a lead pastor at Soteria City International Gospel Church, a multicultural and multi-ethnic and non-denominational church based in Nottingham in the UK. Mr. Ayara, he graduated with a BSc in Insurance and Actuarial Sciences and went on to complete his Master's in Financial Services Management at Salford University, Manchester. He has been endorsed by UKBA for an exceptional talent and as a leader in data scientists. Adding to his qualifications, he also has professional membership with MBCS, OR Society, IBM, etc. He is known for being numerate, analytical, and highly motivated self-starter with transferable skills and hands-on expertise in data manipulation, data project management, as well as excellent problem-solving skills combined with strong commercial awareness. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you our guest speaker for today, Kufre Ayara. So, Kufre, the floor is yours.
When it's time to hit back. That's when it's time to hit back. People get hit by life, but they never hit back.
Are you going to stay down or are you going to decide to get back up? It takes courage. It takes confidence. It takes a strong mindset to get back up when nobody believes in you.
There's a lion inside all of us. To never let that lion out. Many people keep that lion locked in his cage. Are you hungry for that dream? Are you willing to fight for that dream?
Let the lion out. Get hungry for your dream. Go hunt your dream. Talking about that dream won't take you far. Working will.
Doubters will tell you to be realistic. Haters will tell you to quit.
You are the only one who can go and get it. It's your dream. No one will chase it for you. No one will hunt for you. No one will support your dream but you.
There's a quote that goes, everyone wants to eat, but a few are willing to hunt. Everyone wants to succeed, but few are willing to put in the work required.
Stop limiting yourself. You can make your dream into a reality, but it will only take one person to believe that it's possible. It will only take one person to put in the work. That person is you.
There's plenty of humans before you who have accomplished big things, who are living their dream life. They've done it. That is proof you can too. It is proof that you can live your dream if you really want it.
You are the most dangerous enemy to your dreams because only you decide when to quit and give up on your dreams. Only you decide when to kill these dreams. You are more powerful than you even know. You can change the world with your dream. But it only requires you to get out of your comfort zone and unleash the inner lion. It requires you to let the lion out of its cage. It requires you to chase your dreams no matter what.
If you have a weak mindset, if you're afraid of taking risks, you will never get far in life. You will never get that dream with a weak mindset.
Create a mindset that keeps you moving even when others quit.
Life is unpredictable. It's full of surprises. You might be closer than you think. Your dream can become a reality if you refuse to quit.
Be like a lion. Never back down from the challenges you face. A lion never stops chasing its prey until it catches it. You never stop chasing your dream until you live it.
Dream big and never let small minds convince you that your goal is out of reach. It may be out of reach for them, but you know better. Believe in yourself.
If you are in the way of my goals and dreams, I suggest you move.
Fantastic. Did we enjoy that quick video? Can I? Yes. Can I have the screen? Just the first page of the presentation. All right, guys. Very much for just listening at a quick 3-minute video. To be taking you on the data analytics, the importance of data analytics and business analytics as regards to the oil and gas sector, the maritime sector. This is going to cut across other sectors that you may want to get yourself into. And pretty much data has become another oil yet on tap. And so it just means that if you average African people, not even just the African people, just average people on the street, give them 5 sectors, give them oil and gas, give them retail, give them supply chain, telecommunication, banking, and said, which of this sector will you pretty much prefer to work with? And you see that in the past 10 years, average people will say oil and gas. Business is not far-fetched. We believe that that's where money is, because each and every one of us want to have a good life, isn't it? So, and that's just the past 10 years. But over a period of time, we began to see that between the oil and gas sector as regards to how companies are being paid, or employees are being paid. That drill down to the fact we have also covered and another oil in quote. And this is just the oil that every other person will have the oil well, but it's just that we all need to acquire deals. So companies that understand this oil have started making use of it. And these companies are not just going to be in the business for the purpose of being in the business. They are actually optimizing their profit rapidly. So over a period of time, companies have begun to look for who can help them tell story of this oil, who can help them make sense of this oil. Because this oil has always been there, but they were calling or they were having it in shelves and cabinets, and it wasn't even making any sense. So until just about 7 years ago, we had a word that was just roaming and everybody was speaking the same word, which was just on the street. And the word was big data, big data. And so we didn't know what big data is because no one could actually put this big data into context. So we work with the mindset of big data. What is big data? Some people were confused, don't know what to do actually. So, and 5 years ago then, the IBM came up with the ideology that we could segment this big data into what we can have as a tangible asset. And so we began to look at big data in form of the volume of this big data. We began to look at it in form of velocity of it, which means that the volume of it, the voluminous of it, is that this big data is huge. So it's something that one company could say, I have a letter, maybe I have companies in US, in UK, in Nigeria, in Australia, but then all these companies are producing data every single day. And so the volume of data they produce is even more than how they can manage. So the volume is growing day in, day out. And then not just the fact that it's growing day in, day out, they look at the velocity, so the speed in which this data is being produced every single day. And I believe that each and every one of us on this platform, we are producing data even as we are on this platform. You've tried to log in. We had a bit of internet issues, technical issues, and then you try to log in with your phone, or probably you're trying to, if you're watching from Africa and some other places, you're trying to get data on your phone, on your laptop. So you have actually worked with data this morning, you've taken transportation this morning, you've actually just produced data as well. And then move from the velocity and into the veracity of this data. So in different forms, in different formats, this data is being produced. And then we move into the veracity of this data. So that is how to, what the companies have done to be able to segment this big data into something we can actually say, okay, this is what it is. This is what we've been producing over the years. This is what we have as a company, right? Having said that, today I'm going to be talking to us. I'm going to be telling us what we do. We are Kebel Consulting Limited, but I'm going to just be telling you what we can do to take advantage of this huge opportunity that is here. That is not just about the oil company as the oil company in quotes, but the oil company also struggle to make sure they make use of this asset that they've never tried to used before because they never had people with the right skill. So today I'm going to just be telling you what the companies are facing and the skills that we provide as a company and how you can get engaged into these skills, and we can then prep you to see how you can take advantage of this great job, both in oil and maritime and any other sector you can ever think of. All right. So having said that, I would like us to proceed with the slide one, just to tell you who we are in the first place. Of course, Dr. Maureen already made introduction, so thank you once again. And I would like every single one of us, if you can't hear me, please just raise your hand or just type something so we can see, because it's going to be quite entertaining, it's going to be informative, and I want you to get every single bit of it. And if by any chance you have questions just at the end of this presentation, you're going to have me answer some of those questions that bothers your mind, okay? All right. Okay, is there anyone, I think someone, Victor Bassi, is not hearing me. Is it as a result that you can't hear me, or what's the situation? Can you send it as a text? We can just make sure we be able to Anyone you're not hearing me, you've maybe if you have questions, like I said, it's going to be at the end of this presentation, so we don't get distracted. Okay. So, but other than that, if you can't hear me, you can raise hand, and then the technical team will try to work with you to make sure you can hear me very well. All right. Having said that, hearing you perfectly. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, having said that, we are Kebel Consulting Limited. So oftentimes you may see us calling ourselves KCL, which is Kebel Consulting Limited. We based in the UK. We have been in data analytics business for some years now. We rolled out our business in 2015. And then we moved from not just being a middleman between that guy who have got a good skill and the job market, but we more or less like now saying that guy who doesn't even believe in himself, but he doesn't even know the skill that he or she need to have, but we can then try to inculcate the skills that we have as a company, or we train people on, into that guy, into that lady, and then they will be able to move and excel in their career. So we are one of the top UK providers in terms of data analytics. We began in Southampton, and then we had a training center in Edinburgh, which is in Scotland. Over the years, we have seen people who have come from different backgrounds, from people as maybe as far as you can go to people who read law, not just people who are from statistical background, who are from mathematical background or engineering background or oil and gas background, but people as far as people who wanted to study law, but they just discovered that even in the law firm, there's need for them to understand that that's how they can upsell business to their client. And I've seen people come up globally, the UK, Nigeria, globally, right? So we began the business, and we were doing a bit of in-house in the UK. So we had to have a center. We train people. We have some satellite center in some cities that are far from our base. And then we train people, we get them prep, and then they get a job into different sectors, automobile, telecommunications, health sector, pharmaceutical sector, insurance, banking. And so, and just about last year, July, Kebel Consulting enrolled the training into a platform base, which is now, we never even envisaged that it's going to be pandemic in 2020. So we deploy our training into platform. This platform is not like other platform you can see. It's more or less like you are having a live training in our lab. The only difference is just because you won't have the consultants coming over your laptop to show you what we want you to do. Other than that, it's a live training, and we've been engaging that, and that gives us a broad scope to be able to attend to people in Australia, in Canada, in Nigeria, in anywhere in the world, as long as you have internet where you are. All right. So I would like to move to the second slides, and now, and just moving to this slide, I would like you to know what do we do, because you see, in oil and gas, in maritime sector, there's a lot of things that is going on right now. Sometimes people could say, oh, it's a bit of downsizing. They're trying to downsize. So they're looking for a way of making sure they don't go into administration. For example, 4 years ago in Aberdeen, Chevron and some other oil company, they actually make a lot of people redundant, not because those people were not good enough, but the reason is because those people that had a tool that the company required. They realized they want to operate not just what we do as business as usual, but it got to have some technical things we do behind the scene, which one of them was to be able to see how much of our crude oil were transported to Hong Kong, how many barrels did we sell in the last 10 years, and what is the proximity, or what is the probability of the fact that if we have done that to Hong Kong, and then we want to now channel our product to Canadian market, what will be the effect of that? And that is not just decisions they have to make theoretically. Someone will have to have historical patterns of what they've been doing over the years. And that person must have a skill of talking to their data, because historical patterns is talking about the data that they have been doing transactions over the years. And so they noticed that a lot of them did not have that skill. And most of them who had just a little of that skill, they were transferred to Angola. So how do I get to know this? We had about 3 people who were made redundant from Chevron that came to our training center up in Edinburgh. And 2 of them, they are now in Angola. One of them is working as a marketing analytics manager. So that means that there's a shift between this, whether it's downstream or whether you are into offshore, onshore, but there's a shift. They want to change the way they do their business. Maritime, oil and gas want to change the way they attend to clients. So they rather don't want a situation whereby they don't understand or they don't have historical data of their business, rather than just doing business as usual for someone to be able to know, okay, this is how many barrels we're going to send and this is how much we're going to generate. No, gone are the days when we have to deal like that. But this time, we want to deal with fact, and data is fact, okay? So what we do as a company, we realize that there are a couple of good people who have quality educations, who have a fantastic background in terms of experience that have been in these sectors. Some of us trying to get into these sectors. And so we now decided that we are going to provide complete career training from start to finish. We are going to make sure that we don't just tell you what the oil and gas is lacking so you can take advantage of that and leverage your skills. We want to make sure that we provide core hands-on expertise so you can be able to upsell yourself as they're moving or making people or trying to downsize. You will be more importantly readily to pick the job that is available within that same oil and gas industry. So not just that we want to provide this training, what we want to work with you until we make sure you get that job that probably excites you. We want to make sure that, because now the data and business analytics is different from, I usually say this to people, most people come and said, I want to do business analysis. Most people say, I want to do project management. And I said, look, companies are tired of people managing projects without having to have the grassroots knowledge. The reason is because companies are now trying to save costs, which is the 3 major things that every company are looking forward to do or probably doing now. The first one, every company want to reduce cost. And to reduce cost, we have to cut off those middlemen. We need people who can own their projects from scratch to deliverable. And so the idea of having to get the project management is a project manager or a business analyst is pretty much, maybe we want to restructure our company. We need someone who is going to come and do some requirement gathering and make sure that it takes us to that place we want to be, move us with speed, and have to be a chatty type and be able to liaise with the HR, how many people do we need to employ this time, does the Gantt chart and all that sort of things, and then be able to work with the finance department, work with the IT department. But now we need people who have hands-on expertise, who can come in to change things in the company. So now this got to be someone from a data analytics, not business analyst. Because a data analytics professional can become a business analyst, but a business analyst cannot become a data analyst. The number one factor is because he or she doesn't even have the technical skill. All right, so we want to make sure that we bridge that gap between you just having a theoretical knowledge of what you're doing to having a practical skill to be able to do what you do perfectly, all right? So we specialize in areas where there is high employer demand. Even we know that from the beginning of 2020, pretty much from March, this year, we've been having a downslope in terms of how companies are employing people. And so some people have been make furloughs from their jobs, excuse me. And so you can see in data analytics, there's a bit of spike in the number of people that have been taken on jobs within this period. The reason is because they want to reduce spending, so that because no money is really coming up, but then we need people who can help us know in which area we need to reduce spending. So for example, companies dealing with products, black products, yellow products, oil and firm companies, you guys you're dealing with different regions, different countries. But now you got to know, do we really need to export the crude oil? Do we really need to export to Hong Kong? Do we need to, is it a time that we need to export to Singapore? If you maybe from Africa to Singapore, things like that will have to come into consideration because we want to reduce your spending pattern. So to do that, you need someone who will be able to talk with your data and deal with your data. Over 90% of those who have used us are now employed. That tells you that because the skills is relevant, the skills are important in the sector, that every single company, whether medium, large, small size, they are looking and really searching, scouting for people with these skills. Generally, in IT jobs, over 10,000 jobs is advertised weekly. And so that tells you that the market is not saturated. So, but there are very few people who have these skills. And so, and our services is to give you the power to earn from now. This is just to say, maybe let's say you are scared of going for a higher amount because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you get sorted, your family is sorted, your life generally gets sorted. Maybe you want to work a few years and then move into a consultancy role. But it gives you the power to earn right from, if you're starting right from 35K and up to 70K per annum. And this is practical, this is real, because our success story is not just the fact that we want to make sure we train people who just become employable, we want to train people who become professional and become more of business leaders with technical skills within their sectors. Please, can we move to the next slide? So, and it's important, is expedient that we try to understand each single delegate or trainee in order to tailor our training patterns to suit their need, okay? So what do we see? What did we see in the market? What really that Kebel see that make us to go into the area that we want to go? What make us do what we want to do? What did we see? So what we saw is that we saw too many of us, because before Kebel tried to do anything in the sphere of working with oil and gas, maritime, we try as much as possible to see what's the need. What are people doing within these sectors? And we realized that a lot of us had MSc, maybe PhDs, and we saw it that a lot of these people who have MSc, BSc, PhDs, or maybe HND, higher HND, of course, and they expected to be maybe a managerial position, directorate position, or some of them have been in the industry for quite a long time, maybe 15 years now, working in oil and gas, working within maritime sector, but they're still doing the odd jobs, which sometimes put them at risk. Some of them are offshore. And so we feel that there's need to benchmark these skills, because if you have the good qualification and work within a particular period of time, these skills will allow you to move the ladder to where you're supposed to be, which is within the management and strategic position in the company. And so we realized that. And for example, we had a chat with people in London. And so we realized that people that had a very good qualification from sound background, and for example, somebody was reading mathematics, was doing was doing cleaning. It's not bad to do that, but it just means that it was pretty much a wrong concept because this person did not have the information. So we saw that people were doing what they were doing, not because they don't want to change, but just because they were lacking the information that could allow them to make use of their skills or to make use of their educational background. Okay? And then, of course, too many of us, we tend to blame our race, blame our color, and then the accent, and quite a lot of us, we know that within the industry, we have to have people most of people from different background, Indians, and so they don't really worry about this, but it's something that we were seeing as something that could deter us from getting into the industry. And so many of us probably don't have to get these jobs because we feel we are not qualified enough. We don't have what it takes to do that. So we saw all these things and we said, look, what can we do in order for you to qualify for this big role, for these great roles that is out there? And so that's what we saw. And when we saw this as a company, it moves us to a platform where we can now begin to see what do we need to do then to look at these people who have a good background, sub background, they've had PhDs and they've had good qualifications, maybe BSc and engineering, or maybe in education. What can we do? And so we began to work with each individual, and that's how we've been able to train a lot of people, and not just train a lot of people, a lot of people have been able to get jobs within this industry. Okay, please, can we have the next slide? And just before we say the next slide, I would like to just tips in with one of our delegates. We're actually in the UK, and she was working, as you know, with family, was working pretty much really hard to make sure that she have time for the family, for the kids. And then she heard about Kebel, and then she did the training with Kebel, and then she finished the training. And the first job was with automobile company. She worked as, she worked as a senior strategic analyst. And then within that, and they were able to give her the liberty to even look after the family, have time for school runs. And so that is what most of us desire, pretty much. If you're not in the UK, if you're in Nigeria, you want to be able to put little time, but earn a bit of more income, because we want to work smart, not harder. You see, because the new normal we are going into demands that we work smarter, not harder. Okay, so I want to give 2 minutes to, I think she's here, one of our delegates, Adetola, to just 2 minutes to just say what she learned while she was in Kebel and how she's enjoying her career. Now, we have so many that we would have wished to speak, though because of time, we just allowed Adetola to speak now, and maybe we may ask one other person to speak as well. But Adetola, you could have the platform, please, if you can project her for me, Dr. Morris. Hello, Adetola. Are you here at all?
Yeah, I think just unmute yourself. You're on mute. You're mute. So okay, yeah.
Hello. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, my name is Adetola. I currently work as an AI information analyst with Levi. I don't know what you want me to say, really.
I would like you to, so you did a training with Kebel. Okay, let's just do it like a chat. You did a training with Kebel Consulting Limited, and I just wanted to speak about just a little of your experience, okay? Just a little of your experience after you finish your training. After you finish your training, you moved into a job, and how you are enjoying your role with, I think it was automobile was Denso, and then your current role now, because then you didn't even have to be able to think about what should I do, what should I not do, to the next role, how you are enjoying, even in the midst of this pandemic, you're still working to give just 2 minutes.
Yes.
Give people a bit of what your experience is like, or what's like. Yeah.
Yes. So I had a training with Kebel in 2018, and which was a decision I had to take at the time because I needed to make some changes in my career. A decision I did not regret at all. Shortly after my training with Kebel, I got a job.
Okay, yeah.
Mobile device and a call was trying to come in. I apologize for that. So I got a job as with an automobile company called Denzel Marston, a role I held for about 12 months. And while I was still on that role, I was headhunted for my current role with NHS Digital in Leeds as a higher information analyst. In terms of the experience and the exposure it gives you, it's really surreal because things happen quickly. Very rapidly. You have the exposure to different platforms to acquire skills alongside the kind of basic foundational skills that you are given at Kebel. And of course, the world is your oyster. You can. So when I was with the automobile company, I was doing analysis for them in terms of what their production line was, what their bottom line is, profit margins, and things like that. Now I am with the NHS, and the kind of data we're looking into is different. So it is a skill that is relevant everywhere, irrespective of the sector that you belong to. There is no kind of space that you cannot be relevant in. And the beauty of it is how important the organization. You are helping them dream insight into everything that they are doing, which is what they need to know. So you're into a competition, if you are, like I am, looking into all these COVID affairs, we're looking into cancer, how many people are getting diagnosed, how many people are, things like that. It's so interesting. It's quite challenging because it's very, very versatile. So things happen quickly and it changes really rapidly. But that's not to deter you, it's just to let you know that so long as you're a constant learner who is always open to new technologies and picking up things quickly, it is a fantastic move to make. And that's where the future is. If you look at what's happening in the US with the election and all that, is people, analysts behind the screens, they're putting out all those figures there, drawing all those charts, using all those platforms for you to interact with. And when Levi started his talk, he was saying that every day and every minute we generate data. So you and I do contribute to the wealth of data that is the oil that Levi was talking about earlier. I hope that's that makes sense, Levi. Are you there?
Need to unmute yourself.
Oh, sorry about that. Can you all hear me? Thank you, Aditola. Thank you. We've just looking forward to more or less, like Aditola is not up to 2 years in her career and she's already in a senior position. So this is how the industry works, because you see, in all the career path, if maybe because things are changing now, we're moving to the new normal, we realize that you have to move from level 1 to level 2. You see, in data analytics, the good thing is that the skills you have speaks for you. I always said to people, worry about how to make sure you upskill yourself. And Kebel, because we don't just want you to upskill yourself, we want to deep dive into you to see what we can do to make sure you become the best in the industry. So that's why I think that's what just set Kebel apart from every other training provider. So what does it take for you to do this? Now they said lack of knowledge, my people perish, because it's not just about them lacking the knowledge, but because when you don't have that information you need, it makes it quite difficult for you to be able to attend to what we need you to attend to, or what you actually need in life as a person. So what you need is information. And this seminar today, I've just given you a fantastic playground to have this information, okay? So then not just the information, you need determination to be able to succeed. You've heard Aditola she did mention that it's not just on a platter of gold. There are some times that Kebel will have to drill you. We have to send you things that you need to do, and then you got to do them. We are quite interested in you becoming the best that we want you to do, to be, than just being a student or just being a delegate in Kebel. So you need to desire to settle not for less, but you need to desire to move up the ladder. Okay, she worked in the first place, which was the Denso company, automobile company. And then for just a little while, and then while there, she just saw another offer that was even bigger than that and better than that in terms of some of the package that came with liberty to work from home and have time for our kids. And then she had to move for that one. And so that doesn't mean you change job, but it just means that you have options in the market there. So you have to set your benchmark. This is what I want to get. This is where I want to go. You got to do that, because if you have those things, these metrics in place, it helps you to project where you want to be, right? So most importantly, of course, you got to stay focused, because a lot of us don't stay focused. We have had people that have seen maybe their cousins is actually working as a result of training with Kebel, and then they just said, oh, I want to do this training, but you know what? I want to start in the next 6 months. And we just know once it comes into that point where you said, I want to start in the next 6 months, it's likely the focus is going to be shift because you don't know what the next 6 months will do. But we always said to people, if you have the intention to start it now. Now, it might just be too late. So start it now. So you've got to be confident, you've got to be bold, because we have had people who said, oh, but I'm not really sure I'm going to be able to do this. I'm going to be able to get a job. And so we said, look, if you have the confidence that you're going to see the next tomorrow, why don't you have the confidence that you're going to get a job? So it needs your confidence, and give it whatever it takes. Please, let's move to the next slide. So let's just see how we can move as fast as we can. Then, of course, the choice is yours. So here the choice is yours, because success, we say, begins with mindset. You see, most of us have been in maritime, most of us have been in oil and gas over a period of time. But here comes a time that we have to make decisions to move from what we do analogically to a more digitalized form. You see, what you're doing with your company right now, let's say, for example, you're working in the banking industry, you're working as a senior customer advisor, you are talking to customers day in, day out. What you're doing, you're collecting data. You're trying to solve the problem of these customers, because why companies are looking for data analytics, looking for people in this core area is, number one, they're looking for people who will be able to solve 3 problems they have. Number one, how to understand their customers. Every company, whether big, small, large size, they want to understand their customers. Because if you understand what the customers are doing with your product, understand how they're treating your product, understand why they're buying your product, you will be able to upsell and make good use of that customer's channel, which channel they use. Now, number 2, companies want to reduce cost. So they need someone who will tell them that this product is declining in terms of our profitability. So we can discontinue that product. They need someone to tell them that. Number 3, they need someone to be able to tell them how to optimize their profit. So which channel will cause traffic? And this is not about social marketing. This is pretty much real, because in your day-to-day activities, even in your home, you're looking at the areas you want to cut costs and therefore increase your productivity. So, but you need your historical behavior to be able to do that. And this historical behavior is data, okay? So now the choice is yours, because this problem is out there for every company, especially this time. It's out there, but how do you make sure that you get yourself equipped with these skills to solve these 3 problems that cut across every company in the world globally? All right. So the job market is challenging globally, but those who are determined to change their thinking or change the way they've been doing things are the ones getting these jobs. Okay, please, can I have the next slides? And now, so you could be wondering, data, what do I do? You see, data itself is just information. Now, these things will remain information until someone has to deal we need to dissect it, because information itself could be structured, could be unstructured information. Now, when we are talking about data, there's a lot of noise in the data. So in data analytics, we said noise, but in a normal life, day-to-day life, you realize that they said, oh, this is inconsistency, this is problem, this is blank space, but it's called noise because that data will remain unuseful because there's no one to analyze it really. So when we say data is huge, is big, but all the things that you need to do is to clean it, okay? So this process of cleaning, usually when we are talking about the AI, the machine learning, it deals on the fact that it takes about 75% of your time. And this is where Kebel comes in. What do you do? How do you clean this data? So in a very nutshell, it's just these three processes. You got the data, which is the information, transform that information into a way that will be able to allow the stakeholders to make informed decisions. Looking at that information, how you can transpose it from unstructured to more structured, and that's why database is important. And then once you move these information from the database into a platform, you can analyze it and look at how this will benefit the company or you as a person, and therefore you present it in a way that even a non-statistical audience will be able to interpret. And that's why you see chart and graph, okay? You can observe that in US election. You see, when they draw those maps and someone has to tell details about the figures and what it is, not just saying that Biden is this number, but there could be a big shift if it's based on what we analyze or what those analysts are saying. There's a big shift in some state, Trump could just win. So you could see these things and just walk in. So don't think it's just something ephemeral, it's just something abstract. No, it's real. So all you got to do, you have the data, and where is the data? Every company you're going to work or you're working currently got data. Okay? So your duty, your job will be how to make use of this data to allow the stakeholders, allow the management to make informed decisions, whether to reduce costs, optimize profit, or to know how to serve the customer very well. Because gone are the days when companies are really worried about their competitors. No, now that nobody is concerned about competitors, because as a matter of fact, every company is just doing the same thing that each one is doing. But they worry about the customer, because if I'm not, or if I don't know what my customer needs, it may lead me to go to the next client. And so customer become the multi-centric for every company, all right? So can we have the next slide? All right, determines your worth, success or failure. This is we are very familiar with this word over a period of time, success or failure. It doesn't mean that we're in the face of pandemic, it just means that we are going to follow the trend. No, there's a new normal that is coming in, and the new normal means that we need to change our skills and we need to change the rhythm in which we have been doing things. And so we need to choose success and then move on this trend so we won't be left behind. Please, can I have the next slide? So what are your options? And your options is because Kebel, globally, we deal with areas where there is a bit of shortage in the demand. We focus on courses where there is significant skill shortage, where companies are looking for people in this area. And at the end of the slides, you're going to see some of the courses, some of the packages, some of the career prospects that you can engage yourself in. And so please, can we have the next slides, please? Next slide. So who should enroll? Who should take this on board? If you're job searching or you are working, you're grossly underpaid or not getting interviews for, you want to move to a level in your job, you want to move to a position where you maybe a senior manager or a director, but you've not been able to get that done. And maybe your skills does not even match what you have on your CV. So for example, you read engineering, but where you're working, does not correlate your skill set. And this is for you. If you're earning less than £30,000 per annum, that is just as someone who have been working in the next for the past 2 years, 3 years. And so this is for you. And maybe you are not quite there yet in terms of technical skill, but your skill, you're not scared of it. You're not there yet, but you are not scared of it. You're not scared of technical disciplines. This is for you. And you want to make a difference in your career, especially we're going into the new area, whether you're in maritime right now, in maritime sector, you are in oil and gas, you've got to know that it doesn't matter whether you are on the upstreams or you're on the downstreams, you've got to take advantage of this to be able to do what you need to do. Please, can we have the next slides? So why should you choose Kebel? And now I did mention some of this when we started. We said because of the scalable data analytics training that we provide, that's perfect for both, whether somebody said that, oh, you know, Levi, I'm not really good at this. I don't even understand how to use technical tools as little as Excel, but how would I be able to get into this? What should I do? And so we have something that we put in place that whether you are a beginner or whether you are someone with experience in this sector, you will fit in. Because the excellence of doing the training, the excellence of coming on board to make sure that you take advantage of the job that is available in the new normal is to be able to be equipped with the skills that is available in the market. So that's what we do. We know you don't have the skills. That's why you're coming to us. That's why you're coming to Kebel. And so our duty is to make sure we equip you with the skills you need to be able to excel in your career. Is that okay? And of course, our training platform, which is the online platform, is designed to make you feel as if you're working already. So, it's in such a way that the data we use are live data in the industry, within the industry that you work with. And then also the training is in such a way set up as if you are working, because what you're doing in the training is what you're going to be doing in real work experience. Of course, we maintain a structure and we don't just look at and say, okay, come and do the training. We have to go through a couple of things to be able to assess and see which one is good for you. That is just the groundwork we required in Kebel before you'll be able to engage. Please, can I have the next slides? The next slides, please. So key areas we cover, I wouldn't just have to go through each and every one of these, but these are the key areas we offer. There are other areas as well, but we're looking at, like I mentioned before, we're looking at areas that are huge demands in the market, especially now moving into the next phase. Companies are looking for people in these areas. They are looking for people with these skills. They are looking for people ready to do anything. For example, we had students who were in UK coming to study, and they finished and they were worried about the visa, the paper, and companies just sponsored them with tier 2 sponsorship visa, and they'll be able to move on and do those jobs and at the same time have their stay in the UK. And most people in Africa, in Nigeria, someone in Nigeria doing this training because she's moving to Canada. There's a company that have actually just asked, if you have these skills, we are going to trying to get you a job in Canada. And so this is what it is. And most people in Africa, in Nigeria, they are working. We had Toriola. I'm not sure Toriola is, Retiola is here. He's working in Lagos. He's our student, did this training, and he's currently working as a head of data analytics in, I think, Gardner Venture company in Lagos. So Toriola, if he's here, would have just said hello to everyone. So currently we have Ife. Ife is Ife Sinachi is already in Abuja. Is in Abuja. He's currently our delegate in Abuja. I don't know if Ife is here. You can just say hello to everyone and just maybe just 1 minute, and just a word of 1 minute how your experience has been. You are currently having this training in Abuja, and we have James from Zimbabwe. James from Zimbabwe. I'm not sure James is on this platform all the way from. So do we have Ife first? Do we have Ife to just say hello to everyone quickly? Please, our technical team, can we look at the Ife, just to project if you 1 minute to say hello to everyone. Ife, are you here? Please, can you just say hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, we
Hello,
can hear you.
good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ife Sinachi. and I work as an operations lead in a top-tier law firm in Nigeria here. The first time I heard about Kebel and data analytics, I thought I had to be highly numerical and just have a data background or computer science background, to be able to do well in it. But over time, I decided to give it a go, and it's been very, very insightful. I've learned a whole lot, and I've been able to transfer the skills that I've learned so far to my current role now. So I'm, literally encouraging everyone around me to go for it. It's been an interesting journey, and I've never regretted going for it. And it's also opened up more opportunities for me, and I'm, very excited about what lies ahead.
Thank you so much, Ife. Thank you. So you can see the law firm itself now understand the value of data. They understood that they can't really move forward without someone having to talk them through the data. For example, we had in our training platform in Edinburgh, 2 chartered accountants. One of them we had to ask, you've worked as a chartered accountant for 15 years. Why do you have to come and study? He said, I've been doing this training. He says, he had this young chap who came in and is working as a performance analyst, and he's doing what pretty much he will be doing, and he's earning like double of what he's earning, and he's not really doing much things. And to be honest, he just felt that in the next 5 years, he's going to lose his space in the marketplace as an accountant, as a chartered accountant, because now there's software that does this job, that you don't really need a chartered accountant to be there physically. So this cut across the oil and gas industry as well, cut across every other sector. So because of that, he came to do this training to make sure that he upsell himself and be able to position himself very well for the new oil yet on tap, okay? So Ife is one of the delegates, and she noticed that when she started the job with the law firm in Abuja, they put her in that role because of the language she used during her interview and things like that. And she knew, because she's been with Kebel, but she knew that she needed to be able to immerse herself with these skills to be able to add value to that company. And so sometimes you see her working with a big, huge Excel spreadsheet, trying to correlate data and tell them what they need to do. And so we have other people as well, and who are in these sectors who are really, really making huge impact. And so this course area does not just limit to what we are doing, but these are the core areas which the employers are ready to do anything, even to bring a candidate from Nigeria, to bring the candidate from any other country. Okay, so like Dr. Morin did mention before, it was as a result of what I do and what I did for companies that I've worked in the past, that when in 2016, the UKBA said they want to retain exceptional talented people in the UK. And of course, the companies that I've worked in the past, they had to send recommendations to UKBA. And then the UKBA endorsed me for that position. And of course, it's not because we had to say what we haven't done, but it's just because what we have done speaks for us, okay? So it's real, it's fact, and then all you just need to do is just a mindset. Please move to the next slides, thank you. The next slide. So some of the analytical tools or technical tools that we use, which are not limited, are these tools here. So we use IBM SPSS Modeler. Those ones who want to go into AI, machine learning, artificial intelligence, want to build predictive modeling, ability for you to tell the likelihood of a company, or a customer responding to your offer, or the likelihood of a client responding to your offer, or what's the proximity that a company that is dealing with, for example, in Bentley, looking at in the year 2023, we want to be able to have the and self-drive cars, and just having conversation around that. And then somebody mentions that we want to see how a company could be able to produce flying cars. And so you can see the dreams and the vision ahead. You just realize that everything, okay, now in Bentley, all the cars, the new, like for example, Bentayga, which is a new SUV, there's what we call ECU, which we have to factor in data hub, that every single thing pertaining to that vehicle drilled to the database. So which means that if a client is driving that car in somewhere in California or in Florida in US, and it shows that the fuel is just at the limit, it's showing yellow. And this client will ignore it and drive until the tank dried up, and then it caused damage to the vehicle. By the time you get to a dealer in Florida, the first things they're going to tell him is that you had a warning, you do this, so that claim would not be paid to you. So because why? We have the data fit in to what is happening with the machine that he or she is using. So you see what we're doing. So we no longer now ask the dealer to say, what was the condition? What happened? So we had the data drilled down like a funnel. Most of us have heard about Hadoop. So the funnel type where data is really coming down to a port where we can now look at this data and analyze it. So we have SAS, we have SQL, we have BI tools, we have Power BI. And of course, I will mention this Power BI because we started with Cognos, we had Tableau, and then we had ClickView. And then all this drill down to ability for companies to be able to visualize the data without having to go to nitty-gritty of this data, having to tell a lot of story, but just a platform that we can drag and drop and then make some correlations and decide what decision we need to take as a company. Please, the next slides, please. So what's the process here? What do we need to do as a company? How do we get you on board? The first thing, the process is that we have to review your CV. So your CV is you. So before we engage you into anything we do, we have to know, because it's not everybody that is fit for this. Now, don't ask me if somebody is age, this and that. In terms of age is just a matter of mindset. So we don't have age boundary. For example, we had a lady that was retired at the age of 69. She came to Bentley and she's working as a data coordinator. At the age of 69, she still get a job. So don't look at your age. But what I'm going to talk about here is that we look at your CV, which is you. We look at your background, where you're coming from, what you've done in the past years, and what you studied. And then we look at that, and then we move into setting a goal, which is just to match your skill to what the market is telling us right now. And that is to say, we see which package is good for you. What option do we have? Because we have about 15 different packages in our brochure. So we see which one will suit your background, which one is good for you. Because one, you got to finish this training, you got to get a job, you got to be able to do a job that you are happy with. So once we discuss that options, then we drill you into having to do the course, whether you want to go into Maritime, you want to work as analysis for semistic data, or you want to work within the, there's what we call 1D, 2D, 3D, geological data, you want to work within that sector. And so once we look at those courses, and then we have to do what we call interview prep. This is prerequisite to you finishing your training. And as a prerequisite for you to go into a job market, we have to prep you for interview. We have to give you a mock interview just to allow you to speak the language of your CV. And once we do that, is the job offer. Guess, for example, if you know what employers are going to ask you and you go for that interview, the thing is that just know that you're going to get a job. So that's how guaranteeing what we do is. And please, the next slide. Right, guys, thank you so much for your time for that quick presentation. This time is for questions. I'm ready to answer some of your questions. And anything that probably burn in your mind, your heart. But then before then, you'll be wondering, how would you get in touch? How would you be able to enroll if you need to enroll? I'm going to send an email to the chat. So the IT team will just send an email to the group, which of course you will see the in the message box to everyone. You see an email, they just send a quick email to that email and say, look, I'm interested to enroll. If you are in Nigeria, if you're anywhere you are, just send that email and your phone number. On Monday, be rest assured that we're going to call you and then talk you through the process, how you get enrolled, and then we'll be able to move from there, send you the form, the enrollment form you're going to fill all together, and then we'll work with you within this time frame. And then before, if you're on a lockdown where we are in the UK, we just started our lockdown last Thursday, national lockdown. This is not just half lockdown anywhere. So, but we're still working from home, working from offices. We have to space ourselves. But just feel free to make sure that you indicate interest. Don't be scared. Even if we have to assess your skill set and say, look, okay, this is not for you. Yes, let us do that. But I must tell you, don't take chances. You have to take this on board. Right now, thank you, Dr. Morris, and over to you. Any questions, please? We'll be able to attend to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Levi. Yeah, that was very good presentation. I believe that all the guys here did enjoy it, and so we just gonna go into the time of question and answer. And I would like Connie, I don't know if you're there, if you're in position to, if you can help us on with that session, please. But before we go into that, I just want to maybe put a sort of some comment and clarification on things. Yeah, a lot of us here might be wondering, data analytics, what is it got to do with me? And I must submit that in fact, even looking at the turnout, it might tell you. But I think some people are really missing out from it because the reason why I actually contacted the Levi to come and do this session for us is that it's a benefit that I saw where especially even in the maritime sector. I think some years back, I think about 5 years ago or so, some of these NIMASA students that were sent to Liverpool here to study, and so but when they finished their study, they don't have a where to go for C-term, for their C-term, so they had a lot of mixed feelings, their future and their career and things like that. And it was just on timing that time I came across Levi, and he told me what they were doing, you know, in terms of data, and working in a company organization that I know what data means, you know, to have. In fact, the job that I'm doing now, I mean, with this company that long because of my experience and skills in data analytics. So. And because of that, I had to arrange it with them for Levi to do some presentation for these students, these NIMASA cadets that were stranded here in Liverpool. So
that was in Liverpool. I think that was 2-3 years ago.
Yeah. So basically, he gave the presentation to those students, and they were really, really excited. And they saw the vision that they didn't have to depend on only going to the sea. Going to do your system, that they can actually get this skill, this data skill, and still work in the maritime industry or with a maritime company, or still or in the oil and gas, or fitting in any company at all, which where they had to go back, help them to continue with their career. And that's what actually helped. I think about either 3 or 4 of them, of those NIMASA students who were able to afford the training, were actually went through, and they are working now in so in fact, one of them that went back to Nigeria, is actually working as well because of the experience that they had from analytics. So the essence of this actually was that because I see that many of our young cadets finishing from Oron, and they don't know where to go. They are roaming around. They are looking for having this hope of C-term, and when it's not forthcoming, what can they do? Can they diversify their career? Can they get opportunity where, because one of them, it might even have the money, you know, which they can go do another course, or maybe just go for training, but they are not confused. They don't know where exactly what the industry need, or what career, you know, what set of training course that they can undertake that could help them, you understand? So even we talk about data, big data, NIMASA, they need analytic data. They need people that will be able to analyze, that's some of the data. Most of these companies, you know, is this something that is very, very crucial in the industry, no matter where you work from. No industry is left out with data. So like he mentioned before, and even in my company, the role I'm working now, I'm not that because I have a PhD in maritime technology. All those ones are just academic qualification that you need. But when you get into the job now, most of the job that I'm doing now is data. Every day, a day in, day out, I'm dealing with data. And I'm not getting there because some of the training that I'm still trying to improve myself undergo some of the data, like a Power BI. We use Power BI a lot in our job, and most of these things, a lot of reshapes are going on now. So you see a lot of people are being redundant because they are just staying on the job that they were doing. They don't have any additional skill, like all this data skill. And I bet you if you are in any company and you have data analytics skill, there's nowhere that you're gonna be made redundant in that company. Or even if for any reason you can still actually easily get a job. So even myself, I'm a testimony because the job that I'm doing now, I'm doing that job because I have data analytics skill that I can go into. And a lot of everyday customers are asking, we need this, we're able to do this. So they send data information in a spreadsheet, a lot of it, thousands of information. Then you need to analyze, be able to interpret that data, present it in a way that will even a common layperson will understand. And when you are interpret that data for your stakeholders, so it's really important. But it's just my concern that a lot of people we can see here, if we can see, the numbers can tell that many people just see this as it's not relevant, but then they'll be looking for a job. They will say everybody's eye is going to see, which is not. That's not how the world is going on now. Even in the ship now, industry now, most of the ships in future, most of the ships are going to be unmanned. So very few crew on board ship. Who do you think are the ones sitting down to control those ships there? The data analysts or people are in the control room, controlling the ships. So I will just give this room this time to Connie. I don't know if you're there, if you are in position to handle this session for us. Thank you.
Okay, I'm here, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, Levi, for very insightful information, and thank you, Asuko. So it's question and answers time, and I think I'll just share a quick joke. During the NSAS protest here in Nigeria, two guys, I think they call the company Paystack. They were bought by an American company for $200 million. So the interesting thing is one of the guys has earring on, painted nails, and I think he has lipstick on as well. And then some people started commenting that, oh, SARS people would have killed this one, saying he's a Yahoo boy, you know. But then look at, he has survived, and look at how much money they've made. And again, it still goes back to data, really. Data is now the oil, and data is the way forward. And it's time to embrace it. On my job, we're working with a law firm, and they're developing tools for us to just help us process data. And I kept thinking, was joining a law firm with developing tool and doing all sorts. But again, Levi brought the lady that works with the law firm. So you can even see that even the law firms are now diversifying. Everybody wants to make money. And you know, this money today is centered around data. And that's the new future. And I think this presentation is very timely. So question and answer, you can please raise your hands if you have any questions or contributions so that we'll take it in order. Thank you. Any questions? The house is quiet.
I'm ready for questions. I'm ready for questions. I didn't even know my video was.
Okay, I see Captain Warren's hands up. So please, Captain Warren, can you go ahead?
Okay, very good morning to everyone. I'm breaking the rule as someone that is interview. This is the worst question you always will expect from any candidate. It's really almost a failed question, which has to do with cost. Nothing is said about this training. Is it a free training or is it charitable? Are there some costs attached to it? I think it's good to know. But it's like I said, it's a very poor question to ask very well. I think it's also good to have an idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sunday. Thank you very much for that question. I think it's just $1 million questions. It's usually the first question that we encounter in such a time as this. So nothing good really come that cheap or easy, like they say. So I'll give you just a range of the cost for this trading, because there's a lot involved. Like I said, we not just like any other trainer or any other company out there. We likely have one individual going through the training within a month, as long as we succeeded in making sure that one individual get a job. Okay, so the range is between and now this is going to really be a bit more. I have to be careful here because it's not the way it is for people in Nigeria. The price I've mentioned. So if you're in the UK, let me mention this way. If you're in the UK, US, Canada, Australia, the range is between £1,800 to a maximum of £4,000. If you are in Nigeria, the range is between 150,000 naira to 700,000 naira. Okay, so your cost may be the one of 300,000 naira, maybe the one of 500,000 naira, maybe the one of 250,000 naira. It varies. Then if you're in UK, it could be your package or the recommended package for you could be the one of 1,800 pounds. It could be the one of it could be the one of 2,000 pounds. It could be the one of 2,500 pounds. It could be the one of 3,000 pounds. It could be the one, for example, coming in for AI, machine learning. It could be the one of 3,800 pounds. So it varies, please. And I would say during your consultations, you will get a clear picture based on your package. So it's quite cheap. And for example, somebody in Nigeria would say, why do I have, because they seem to pay pretty much less. The reason is because Kebel have also considered a lot of factors. They've got to buy data. They've got to do some of they have to go to internet where internet is. So there's a lot that we take into considerations, and this is just something the plan that Kebel have and the policy that they have in place. Okay. Have that answered your question, Mr. Morin, please?
Yes, you have. On the lighter note, so it's cheaper in Nigeria, and I guess if I'm doing it from Akwa Ibom, it will be far cheaper than in Nigeria. Anyway, so back to the other side. What determines the package? Is it after your assessment or analysis of the CV that then you can come up to say, okay, Mr. Sunday needs model A, B, he needs a deeper level of this? Is that really what determines the package? Thank you.
Yes. What determines the package? Yes, is the background. Yes. It's just like the why we have to really be focus on your background or really focus on what you've done in the past is because it's easy to take a horse to a stream, but you can't force a horse to drink. Most people, we just look at you and say, look, come and do this package. It may not be what's really suited for you and what you like to do in the future. For example, we look at someone who have worked for maybe 15 years. We know in the next 10 years, that person, or in the next 5 years, that person should move into a consultancy role because you've had experience within the oil sector for maybe 15 years, 20 years, or law firm, or which company you're working. We know, and then we also look at maybe you're at the age of 40 something, and then we know that you don't want to work for the rest of your life for someone. You need to move into a consultancy role. So there's a package we're going to recommend that you just need to work with one or two companies to get that experience you need to be able to move something bigger. Okay, so it's really experience that we have to understand your background Like they said, the background is not about just your name, but we need all those little details to be able to factor into our database, and then that predictions will come as well as the other metrics that will allow us to make that decision.
That's fine for me. Nothing more for me. Thank you very much.
Okay. Please, any other person, please. Please question. If you don't, okay, I will assume that each and every one of us you are clear with this. We have sent our email. We've sent the phone number. You can add Kebel on WhatsApp group. That number is on WhatsApp. You can have, but I would prefer you send an email as well, so we can call you on Monday anytime from in Nigeria. If you're in Nigeria, it's going to be from 10 a.m. But if you're in the UK, from 9 a.m., we're going to start making calls and just making sure we get in touch with every single person that have indicated interest, okay? So any question at all, you know the time we are in and what the world is experiencing now. There's a new normal that is coming in. You must have heard some of the saying on the streets that people are talking how the job market is going to be really tough and things are changing. Yes, everything is focused now on the data. That's what it is. Everything is going on the platform that company will say, look, what do you have? What skill do you have? They said, you've got these data analytics skills. That's what they need, because companies are now moving from just doing things analogically to more digital and way. So you've got to align yourself with this new normal and being able to take advantage of the job that is out there. As simple as that. And funny enough, you don't need to be from the sector to be able to get a job in the sector. For example, I studied, my first degree was insurance in Nigeria, in Enugu. And then coming to UK to do my master's in financial services management. So you will expect me to be always in the banking sector. And of course I was, but the truth of the matter is you could be able to diversify your industry, move from one sector to the other, because what matters is these skills. We also have a chap, he's also, I think he's Kufre by name. He joined Kebel while he was doing his master's degree in University of Nottingham just last year, 2019. And then while he was studying for his master's, he was also doing training with Kebel. And some students say, I'm not flexible enough to do that. It's too much to bear. But I just give a big kudos to those who can do it. And the young man was doing it. And as soon as he submitted his dissertation September last year, he also applied for a job in data analytics. This chap, the father, worked with NNPC in Nigeria. Now, because he needed to pay for his course, and the father had to speak with me, and he says, please, whatever you can do to help him, because there's no job for him coming back to Nigeria. Not because the father doesn't have, but he just knows that he won't be able to get a job, because it's more than just my son is studying engineering. It's more or less like, what skill does he have, or what can he do? And so when he submitted his dissertation September last year, on 30th of September, and the first job he applied for in Islay, in UK here, in Islay, and they gave him a job, a young man starting salary £33,000, and then they sponsored him for Tier 2 visa. So for 5 years, it's with that company. Now they're having the pandemic. He started that job January this year. And then, of course, is because of the lockdown, he's all working from home. In fact, since March, he's been working from home till now. So, and he has his 5 years visa. So a lot of people, probably if you're in Canada, if you're in US, UK, I would probably say, don't worry about your stay. Worry about what you can do, because every single person needs to contribute to the society and community, which we find ourselves. As long as you are relevant to the environment, then visa will come back in. I am just a great example of that, okay? And when I said the UKBA endorsed me in 2016, not just endorsed me as giving me the plaque or giving me the letter that you could tell. It was actually coming as a result of that. They said, you are eligible to stay in the UK, even if we have to send everybody back home. Because we need people who are talented in different areas to stay. So I will tell you, take the bulls by the horns. Just make sure that don't allow anything to deter you from participating on this program, because the next 6 years, the next 5 years, the next 4 years, the next 3 years, the next 2 years, the next 1 year of your trajectory plan could just change by just this single decision. And I would advise and encourage you to take it on board. Now, someone asked a question, what background must I have? So I'm just going to, if you can't really ask, you want to put a question on the chat platform, I'm happy to do that. Someone just asked, what background must I have to benefit from this training? Now, I did mention during the presentation that you don't necessarily need to say what background do I have, but you need to say, do I have an open mind? Because all what Kebel needs from you is an open mind. Let's say you study philosophy. You said, oh, I don't deal with numbers. I'm very bad in numbers. You've heard if you working in a law firm. And I know maybe just saying that just average people, a small number of people actually want to go and study law in school. Just based on my experience with some of my friends who study law, they feel that they were scared of numbers. They were not good in maths. They were scared of numbers. That's why they want to study law, because they can, they're good in that area. But I tell you, and in as much as you think you are scared of numbers, you shouldn't be scared, because you're actually dealing with numbers even when you are eating. So the background is cut across every single person. As long as you have studied maybe university, college, you have your mind is open, your heart is empty to get something new, and you are not scared of technical skills, and you are not afraid, you're not really concerned about your race, your color, then you are not timid, and you are bold, you're confident, you want to get into this, is for everyone. And now, just to let you know, if by any chance that we feel, okay, we look at your background, you haven't worked anywhere in your life, and then you haven't studied anywhere. Let's say you haven't had your college, you haven't been able to go to school in anywhere at all. All right, we had someone who has been in Norway for about 30 years. They're actually from Nigeria. They migrated to Norway with their husband for 30 years. They actually speak the Norwegian language, which she couldn't even speak English properly. And they've been there for 30 years. She was working as a cleaner, and then the husband worked as a security man. And so in that aspect, you look at their life, they were not studying, they were not. So, and when they met us, that was in Edinburgh in 2016. And along the line, we were struggling because the lady was eager to do the training. Now, but she was constrained because of her background. And we too, we didn't want to engage her to do the training because of the background. But she had a big open mind, and she was just eager, and we saw the enthusiastic spirit. And then we said, okay, look, we're going to give you a very minimal course to just get you started as a beginner. And then, of course, we'll roll out for performance analysis with Excel and Google Analytics, Google Spreadsheet. Now, just to cut a long story short, the lady is working with Edinburgh City Council and earning a good money. So that sort of person, I would say, if we have just focused on the fact that you don't have any background, could have deterred her from achieving our goal in life. So don't be afraid, whatever background, let's discuss it. But what matters is, you look at my slides, I said, you are a determinant factor. Your motivations, your hunger, your desire, your yearning, your burning, the enthusiastic spirit to do this is what will allow us to speak with you and see what we can put from you. So like I said, the courses, if you have to be like that lady, your courses will go as below as £1,800, okay? So those courses, we don't factor in to say 1,800. Those courses can be about £1,000. If you're in Nigeria, those kind of courses could be about 200,000 or 150, okay? So that's just how it varies, okay? And then someone asked another question, is that if you are to do the training from Russia, what price range will the person fall in? Very good question. And if you're if you're to do the training from Russia, you fall within the UK price range because you are within Europe. And so, but we look at some factors that relate to if you're a student currently studying, we can give a bit of, we have option of discount in place. And also just bear in mind the payment method is purely, we have instrumental payment plan in place, okay? If that help for that question. Is there another question someone asked? Is there any guarantee of placing someone in a job in Nigeria after taking your course? Now, in terms of guarantee for job, yes, there's guarantee for job, but we don't give you jobs, okay? We have a village to companies that we call that this person, for example, I was talking to someone, I don't remember on phone, was it on Thursday? So a company called me here in the UK and said, look, the lockdown just started, but they need someone in a position like this. And unfortunately, we don't have anyone that have finished training. And I think I was talking to Dr. Morris, I think it was you. I can't, you muted yourself. So I think it was you on phone. So it happens like that, the questions you asked, Mr. Kent. So it happens like that, that we may have that coming up in Nigeria, and then it falls at the time where you have finished your training. But all in all, if you finish your training, we expect you to move into a job. How do we do that? We ensure that we do the mock interview, which will go through about 10 tough questions that cut across all industries. And once we go through these tough questions, we tell you what the employers are looking for. The reason I have been in the industry, I know I've employed people where I work, so I know what it is. Just to let you know, your CV, keywords we're looking for. It takes every average employer 30 seconds to look at your CV. So if your CV doesn't pick the right keyword, we drop it. Just imagine that in the UK, in England, we have about 56.6 million people. In the UK, generally, we have about 69.6 million people. Oh, if a lot of people have to apply for a job, just wonder how and the employers will be dealing with maybe 10 CV for one role or 5 CV for one role. You have to just pick by the keywords. So Kebel understands these keywords and we put that on your CV. So when you finish your training, we ask you, we do your CV for you, and we ask you to study your CV for 3 days. And then we organize the mock interview for you. This mock interview is to ask you things that pertain to your CV, and then we address this question in regards to tough questions that cut across, whether JP Morgan's or oil and gas, whatever company it is. Once we address these top 10 questions, you'll be writing a lot of things down. And then once we sign you up, we said, you are now ready to apply for a role. So what we do is that the company called you on Monday, said, we just come across your CV. Are you ready for an interview on Tuesday? Tell them no. The reason we ask you to tell them no is because we want to make sure we have a conversation with you as regards their job description, the job spec they sent to you. You need to send that to us. We are going to discuss the likely area they're going to be asking you questions in the real life interview. So before you will tell them no. They said, when can you attend the interview? Tell them on Thursday. If they call you on Monday. The reason we said that, you may not be able to have a chat with any of our consultants on that Monday because it may be too impromptu. You may be able to speak with us on Tuesday. So whatever we have to go through with you on Tuesday, you have Wednesday to rehearse it by yourself. And then on Thursday, you're ready to go for the interview. Just guess what? If you know what they're already going to ask you for an interview, then the rest become history. So that's how we work to make sure that our success rate is 98% that we are currently on. Okay? So don't be scared, don't be afraid of, and don't say, would you be able to guarantee me to give me a job? No, we don't give a job, but we empower you to get a job at every possible. And we usually say, if not in your first interview, let's say they didn't like your face in the first interview. Let's say second interview, you went late and they didn't like that. And so you've learned from these 2 mistakes. So the third interview, you should be on your first row. And most of our students, most of our delegates has been in just their first or second interview. Like you heard Detola when she spoke, she just finished her training, and that was I think her second interview. The young chap that I mentioned, the sponsor for Tier 2 this year, it was his first interview. So this happens based on the fact that you are ready to be drilled, and we will work with you until you give up on yourself. We won't give up on you. Then the next question was, okay, I think it's pretty much, if you have any question, please feel free, or just send it across. I will address them. Yeah.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Connie, for taking that session. Yeah, because we are very conscious of our time, because we don't want to keep people here for too long. So we want to just move on, and at this point, I would like to give Officer AD, if AD is here, to give us just give a vote of thanks to the presenter. Unmute yourself, go ahead.
All right, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, thank you.
I must say it's a very, very great session. I'm glad I did not miss out. When I saw the invite initially, I was like, I was just thinking within me, what has this got to do with my field and all that? When later, as I read down, I saw data analysis. I said, no, this is necessary. So I just want to urge everyone not to limit. We shouldn't limit ourselves. That we are in the maritime sector doesn't mean you shouldn't diversify. Please, if where I am working, in fact, the session has already created a provoking thought in me on how I'm going to expand my horizon in my department where I'm working currently. So it's a very far-sighted session. I must thank you for bringing it our way. It's really timely. Thank you very much. So everyone,
thank you.
Maximize your potential, make use of the opportunity, and you will never lag in the industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eddie. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much, Eddie, for that session. Thank you, everyone, for making out time to attend this session. Just normal, know that with these workshops is every 2 weeks. So we have, in the next 2 weeks, we're gonna have something different, and have to make this announcement. I don't think after, okay, you know what, let me just give in Young our
sorry, my doctor. Can you get the visitors off the platform?
Okay,
Let's go internal now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys, for your time, and see you. And just see you on Monday. I will be glad to speak with you. Thanks, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day. And bye. Bye for now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, my man.
Right.
Okay. Thank you, Captain Moran, for that vision, because I forgot it. Right. So is somebody? I think Michael Lolo. Are you Michael Lolo? Is like your hands up? Are you do you want to ask a question?
No, sir. No, sir. I was just
bye. Okay.
I was just clapping.
Okay. All right. Good. Right. So internal affairs. We have our next, EC chairman here. So in Young, if you have any information at all to give out at this time, the floor is yours. You can just take 2 minutes.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
It's nice being here. I'm actually in a program, but I had to find my way to come and at least get the information that I got, and I think it's a beautiful one. Also concerning the election that we are planning, and we are on course so far. I think most of the, we got our newsletter sometime last week, this week, about those that were cleared and those that were not cleared. Of those that were not cleared, majority of them have been cleared so far. I expected to see a lot of them on campaign right now, but I'm yet to see the flyers. I hope that within the week, we'll begin to see very colorful flyers, and then and their manifesto and what they plan to do for Amano. So far, I think we are on course. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you very much, Young, for that brief information. Yes, in line with the election, the Amano teaching support team are planning to organize a debate night for all the contestants. So as soon as we have the arrangement and all the formalities ready, we'll get it across to the house, the date and the time. So it's going to be very interesting. So we'll encourage people to send their questions to the email that we will send to, so that question can be taken in an orderly manner on that during that debate time. Okay, and I think I also have something to say about the last workshop that they did, which was building the bridge. There was recommendation that the building the bridge part 2 should be organized, and that is going to we are going to have like moderators and pressmen and women will be invited for that event. It's going to be Zoom still on this platform, but we're going to have it like elaborate where we have the panel, and this panel is going to comprise of different ex-cadets, different batches where they talk about batch data, batch yesterday, and batch now. So it's going to be a mix up, and in line with what is going on now, this with the youth rampage in the country about NSAS and with the future of the youth. So it's the right time for us to have this discussion. So it's going to be very interesting, interactive discussion. So we are planning that, and the next set they are going to sponsor that event as well, in terms of anything that we want them to do, or maybe getting people. So we will be looking for volunteers in different groups, that batch data or batch yesterday or batch now. So we will look for volunteers in a situation where we cannot have volunteers. We're going to reach out to some people and ask them to be one of the to be in the panel for that discussion. So looking out for that information, we'll make it available very soon. And the team, the Amano workshop team, teaching support team, are working on that event. So it's going to be very interactive and very, very interesting. Okay. So in the absence of any other thing, so I would just thank you all again for your turnout today, and I hope you all benefited for some things. And my final word on this will be that the data and analysis, big data is something that is very, very important now in the industry. So it shouldn't be, you don't limit yourself. You don't have to do with Kebel. I will just brought Kebel, the guy, to come and give us that enlightenment. So if you find any other company, even in Nigeria, that you know that you can go on to that course and do and upgrade yourself, that will be my recommendation and advice, especially so that we don't limit ourselves in our job. We want to be marketable in the future. Okay, thank you, and I wish you all a good weekend and enjoy your Saturday.
Okay, Doctor, wishing you the same. Tell the contestants we are not seeing their hands. So in America, Trump was sharing food. In Nigeria, we know what they share. Amano, what are we sharing?
Yeah, we will soon send the palliatives across. Never mind. Don't worry. Just keep open. Yeah, we plan to beat Trump's. We go beat Trump this time.
Okay, no problem. Some of us need new cars. We need new cars.
All right, good.
All right.
I'm sure we are all hearing. We are all listening.
Yeah, we are listening.
Thank you, guys. Have a blessed.
Thank you.
Have a blessed weekend. Yeah. Bye.